So, hopefully, at this point, you've done some research on retreat venues and received some information back. What does it look like? Your consideration should include deposit pricing, lodging costs, meal expenses. Are they included? Shuttle fees. Are they included? The price for the yoga or conference room, or is it included? And the cost of excursions, including transportation, or is it included? Also, note their cancellation policy, payment deadline dates, and any extra taxes. Understand how many attendees are necessary for your lodging and food to be covered. Some venues might only cover lodging, not meals, so determine what your meals will cost. Write everything down to visualize it on paper. If you're arranging everything independently at a villa, ensure you have all the costs in writing from your chef, including food, labor, transportation, cleanup costs, taxes. Get full prices from the shuttle service and have everything in writing. One of the biggest areas people question is lodging and room pricing, along with their configurations. You should be very careful when examining the venue's pricing. Is it per person or per room? Check the type of beds in double rooms. Do they have one king size bed meant for a couple to share or two single beds for friends? Be cautious and avoid letting people share a bed unintentionally. Most would not want to share a bed with anyone other than their significant other, and even then, they might not want to share a bed. Get specifics on the number of beds in each room and their exact sizes. Regarding pricing, single occupancy will always cost more than a shared room. As the number of occupants increases, the cost per person decreases, which is a good option for budget-conscious attendees. You might find that around 75% of people opt for shared accommodation, usually with someone they know, while 25% prefer single rooms. I inform potential participants through my sales page that I can help pair them with a roommate. And if I can't find one, then they'll get a single room accommodation and pay for that price. I usually tend to decline offers of dorm style rooms with bunk beds as they just don't appeal to my preferred clients. My clients do not want to sleep in a bunk bed or 4 to 6 to a room. However, maybe your target audience would find these options suitable. If you're ever in doubt about what a retreat venue is saying, ask them to confirm. I like to write down all my information to my understanding, the hard costs, room configurations, and then I ask them and confirm and say, are there any other costs that I should be aware of? Have that in writing. If this is over email, make sure that you save a copy of that email. Another thing you want to consider is if you're working with foreign currency. It might be beneficial to add a clause on your site in contract stating, the tuition for this retreat is based on the currency rates of the exchange in effect at the time of the publication of this retreat. We reserve the right to adjust the trip price if the exchange rate varies by more than 5% from our published pricing. Now, let's dive a little deeper into pricing your retreat. The majority of retreat leaders want to make a profit from their retreat. Some want to offer them out of the kindness of their heart, and while I understand the sentiment of wanting to make a retreat accessible to those in need, the reality is, A, there's lots of costs to keep in mind for a retreat that you don't want to bear, and two, leading a retreat requires a lot of energetic and emotional output. Without proper compensation for your services, it's easy to become resentful. And the truth is, you're going to offer a better service when you're well compensated. Remember your ideal client from earlier? This person has not only the desire, but also the means to invest their self-development and transformation. There's no reason why you shouldn't earn more than $10,000 on your retreat. It's completely achievable, and you need to keep two things in mind. Calculate your base costs or your hard costs, which are the bare minimum you need to make the retreat happen. This includes lodging, food, shuttle, taxes, excursions, tips, gift bags, travel, and also your desired profit, which you add on top of that. We must make sure that you are not losing money when calculating base costs. We also don't want to come out breaking even for the sake of trying to give people the best price possible. We don't want to just wing it either with the pricing. We want to be precise about the numbers we come up with. I like to base my retreats, or the price rather, on the bare minimum of people I need to launch the retreat, or the minimum number of people I need to have my lodging taken care of. If I can get more than my minimum, I do very well. So when I base my pricing on the minimum number of people I need, I do so with the goal to earn at least $10,000. And your goal might be higher. That's great. If my retreat lasts 7 days and I'm on for 12 hours a day, that equates to just under $120 an hour. I'm on from my 8 a.m. class through to 8 p.m. dinner, being the leader and the holder of the space that whole time. And I want to be compensated well for that time. It's probably one of the only times in my life where I'm earning $120 an hour. And who doesn't want that? Let's take a moment to discuss expenses. I personally make my retreats all-inclusive, meaning participants only need to secure their travel to the location. Everything else is taken care of. I suggest considering this approach as it simplifies things from a marketing perspective. Attendees will be more interested if they know all costs are covered, eliminating any unexpected expenses. An all-inclusive price makes it impossible for them to dissect the costs and make any judgment about your profit, which you've added on top. Working with a retreat venue often simplifies the process. Venues should provide a rate that includes meals, lodging, access to rooms or spaces for sessions, and shuttle service. Be aware of any extras not included in that rate. You can do that simply by asking. Adding 3 daily meals for a week-long retreat is worth considering. Knowing that meals are covered eases the attendees' concerns about meal costs and logistics. Be sure to get all costs, including taxes, lodging, shuttle service, meals, and excursions, in writing. If necessary, include transportation costs for any of the excursions. If you're planning a retreat at a boutique hotel, you should be able to obtain a detailed final quote. However, if the retreat is at a private villa, there will be more to figure out and additional people to get quotes from because you'll be hiring everyone independently. There's a lot of moving parts this way, and there's a lot of room for error, so it's crucial to be attentive. I've included a sample pricing sheet in this module to help you calculate your costs. I calculated all of it on the minimum number of 6 as if nothing were included, and I needed to add everything in so you could see what that would look like. After determining base costs or the minimum number needed, I'll start with adding on around $1,500 or more per person as profit and begin to play around with the numbers. You could certainly add on less, especially if your clientele is younger and just starting out, or more if your clients are older and more established. So to be clear, I calculate all the hard costs, and then once I have that number, I add on $1,500 for my own profit. So if the hard costs are $1,000 and I add on $1,500, I'm selling that as $2,500. Adding more to your profit on the high end allows you to offer substantial early bird specials to encourage early signups. For example, if I add $1,500 to the total base price, your hard costs, and I offer a $500 discount, my profit reduces to $1,000. $1,500 from my profit minus the $500 discount. If out of the 6 people minimum I need, 3 took the $500 early bird special and the other 3 paid full price, my profit would only be $7,500. However, my goal is to make $10K, so I'd add more and adjust the numbers. Then I'd ask myself, would my ideal client pay this much? This is why your sales page needs to be convincing about the value you're offering. It must clearly state the retreat's benefits and the transformation your attendees can expect. My clientele is primarily middle-aged with a moderate income level, so I'm aware of the pricing limitations. The most they would typically pay is around $3,000 to $3,500. So I seek venues where the base price per person falls around $1,500 to $2,000. I have a client in Connecticut who has very affluent clientele, and she prices her retreats between $4,000 and $5,000. I also know of a woman in LA leading small transformational group experiences for $8,000. So it's crucial to understand your ideal client. Think about how much you want to profit from your retreat before doubting your worth. Calculate a price that includes base costs and your profit markup, including early bird specials, and then assess how comfortable it feels.